Hello, and thank you for joining me for an information session about the HUE Leadership Alliance, Incorporated. My name is Janelle Snipes. I am the founder and president of the board of directors. This session, we will be discussing history and vision of the HUE Leadership Alliance, some recent statistics about women of color in the workplace that support our why, a program overview of our upcoming Emerging Leaders Program, an invitation to apply for the program, as well as to donate, how to stay in touch with us, and how to submit any questions so that you can have answers to support your decision for the HUE Leadership Alliance. The HUE Leadership Alliance is a fairly new organization. We were officially founded in 2020 on the vision that was provided to me in 2017. As a human resources director and entrepreneur of a service organization providing coaching, training, and human resources consultancy, I've seen over the course of my almost 20 years in leadership development and HR, a lack of representation in management and executive roles in corporate America, the jobs that I occupied along my way, as well as the firsthand knowledge of the barriers that I experienced and those of my peer group, women of color that were trying to grow their careers inside organizations. In my HR capacity, I've worked with multiple leadership teams, filling management level vacancies and making executive succession planning decisions that will impact organizations for years to come. The goal is to make sure that women of color leaders are prepared and equipped to navigate the systematic obstacles that are faced within organizations so that they can obtain leadership positions in a faster manner. I'm supported in this vision by a fantastic board of directors. Jerika Yancey serves as our vice president of the board. Dr. Raquel Daly serves as our secretary of the board. Walter Snipes serves as the treasurer of the board, and Dr. Christine Reed Davis serves as our director at large. This group of individuals has worked with me over the course of the past year or so, making sure that we are ready for our first cohort of women of color in this Emerging Leaders Program. As recent as 2020, statistics show that women of color occupy a large amount of entry-level positions and are disproportionately represented in low-wage and essential jobs. The healthcare industry, cashiers, elementary and middle school teachers is where we see women of color represented at the highest level proportion. White women held almost a third of total management positions in 2020, but the percentage of women of color occupied was much smaller. Asian women held only 2.2% of the total management positions, while Black women held only 4.1% and Hispanic women held only 4.5%. In a recent study by Lean In and McKinsey & Co., 222 companies employing over 12 million employees were surveyed, and the results show that women of color, categorized as Black women, Latinas, Asian American, Native, and mixed race women, only occupied 3% of C-suite executive roles, 6% of vice presidential roles, and only 11% of management roles. This low level of representation is the cumulative effect of discriminatory norms, policies, and practices throughout the corporate managerial pipeline that prevent women of color from going further than our counterparts and peers. That leads me to discuss the broken rung. Our counterparts, males and women, white women and white men, were promoted at higher levels in organizations throughout the US. And that is just a reflection again of the systematic barriers that have been placed in the way of women of color's progress. For every 100 men that were promoted to management roles, only 85% of women were promoted in the same rate. For the women of color, that gap was even larger. Only 58% of Black women, 58 Black women were promoted for every 100 men, and only 71 Latina women were promoted for every 100 men. The HUE Leadership Alliance has dedicated its focus to building the leadership competencies and skill sets of women of color so that they can effectively navigate and overcome the barriers that they will face within the organization. More women of color leaders will allow us to start making change within organizations so that we can remove some of the barriers for the future leaders that hopefully will be a larger representation of what the population looks like. The HUE Leadership Alliance prepares women to lead exceptionally through personal and professional development programs that have been out of reach for many women due to the costs associated with continuing education and professional development programs. Our Emerging Leader Program, however, is a solution for that. It is a 6-month development program that targets women of color between the ages of 25 and 35 years old with at least 3 to 5 years of work experience. This is the baseline for entry into the program. However, we will consider women between that age range with more years of service in their work or in their careers. The program is structured for 2 live meetings that will be held with the women who accepted into the cohort, along with pre-recorded meetings that will allow them to consume the content at a self-pace that will provide some supplemental information so that they can complete the assignments that are used to reinforce and apply the learning to their current organizations and their work assignments or roles that they occupy. Those live meetings and the program as a whole is going to be guided by the program director, which I will be serving in that capacity for 2021. Some of the topics that we cover in the 6-month program include navigating workplace culture, which we've talked about during this information session, how to identify your leadership style, personal and professional brand management, communication styles and techniques, which is essential for every good leader, how to capitalize on your strengths, how to lead from the ranks without title, but by utilizing the influence that you can cultivate, and also how to build and leverage your network, which is essential for moving up within organizations. Participants will receive in the 6-month program group coaching and guidance on their career journeys. We do expect that the women that are selected will be coming with various years of experience and also from different industries. So some of the topics and the content that is presented will be of a general manner. However, the conversations that we'll have in those live cohort meetings will provide practical implementation strategies and techniques that they can each apply that information to their current work situation. Of course, they'll be connected to a network of ambitious women who will support them during their journey and also hold them accountable for completing the assignments and for making the changes that we will be discussing throughout the program, as well as practical career management skills. For dedicating so much time, effort, and attention to this program, of course, our women will receive a leadership program certificate that they can use as a credential for presenting themselves as a potential leader within their organization or for their future organization. If you're interested in applying, we encourage you to visit our website, www.thehueleadershipalliance.org, and visiting our program section where you can get more information on the program as well as submit the application. You'll need to complete the application form and also provide some supplemental information via email to the email address listed on your screen. Those supplemental documents will include a resume, CV, or work history, as well as a personal interest statement. The personal interest statement is going to be essential for our selection committee to understand the intent and motivation for our applicants and select those that we feel will be a good fit for our inaugural program. All of these items must be received by our April 7th deadline. Now you've gotten all of that information. I'm sure you're wondering, how much does this cost if there is a fee attached to it? Well, your average 6-month development program could range you anywhere between $4,000 to $7,000. However, we understand that cost and sponsorship is a big barrier for women of color within organizations, as well as knowing that Most of the time, professional development budgets are reserved for those that are already in leadership roles, or reserved for those that have been identified as high potentials and will be soon taking over leadership roles. It is for that reason we wanted to make sure that the barrier to this program was minimal. So the only investment that our participants will make is a $100 program fee that is paid after they have been notified of their acceptance to the program. There is no fee to apply, so you don't have to worry about any financial responsibility until you've known that you have been selected. If you are interested in supporting our efforts and our cause, we would love for you to send your donations to us. We are a 501c3 organization, so all of your donations are tax deductible and you will receive the documentation necessary for your records. You can submit your donations through check, Zelle, PayPal, or Givelify. And the instructions on how to submit those are also found on our website on the homepage. $100 may not seem like a lot, but for some women, it may be. So we want you to understand that every donation received will go to support our program participant fees, as well as administrative costs to deploy the program to as many women as we can. So thank you in advance for your support, and we look forward to getting connected with you. You can stay in touch with us by signing up for updates on our website, as well as following us on social media. We are present on Facebook and Instagram at the HUE Leaders. You can also join us on LinkedIn at the HUE Leadership Alliance Incorporated. We will continue to post updates about future application periods and events that you can support or share with your family, friend, and professional networks. So if you have any additional questions, we would love to have the opportunity to clarify or provide additional insight. You can send us an email at info@hueleadershipalliance.org, and we will respond to you as soon as we can. Thank you so much for your time and attention. We hope to see you on social media, or better yet, in our future programs. Have a great day.